Um, Hope everybody's fine. Sorry I haven't been checking up. Things have been a lot rough for the last couple of months. December, it's over, so we had a lot of setbacks financially. Things got more expensive. Dollar went crazy in the market. And today I just wanted to make a video because people are asking me to make a video of what's going on here in Venezuela. Well, first of all, I went to the march. Um, it was so many people out there. It was just crazy how much like support the Venezuelan people have to have a change of government happen in Venezuela. Now, um, the National Assembly hasn't even gotten together. They're supposed to get together today to swear in Juan Guaido as the president of the National Assembly. Since this hasn't happened yet, there's a lot of speculation of what's really going on. Like, a lot of people are confused, and I'm confused myself, because the whole point of what was supposed to happen on, hold on a second, I'm supposed to keep it this way. I'm sorry. The whole point of what happened on the 23rd. First of all, what is the 23rd of January here in Venezuela? It's commemorating what happened back in Perez Jimenez dictatorship, and they took him down with like a civil unrest protest. And this is similar what's going on here, and we were actually marching that day to show presence of to the government that we want change. Now, why do Venezuela? The people have been going through really bad times. Hello, Bill. And what I want to get through is like my position is I want the Venezuelan people to be fine. I want people here to have a regular life. You know what I mean? That their job and whatever job they have like gives them enough money to eat, go out and do the things that most people in other countries get to do on a regular day basis. Now, in Venezuela, the situation has gotten so bad that you can no longer do that. Whatever you make in money, you have to spend it on food, and food is super expensive. Super expensive. I mean, if I can give you a comparison, it would be something like if you buy cheese, milk, bread, you would spend an equivalent, if you have 4 people in your family, you would spend an equivalent of like 12,000 bolivares, right? 12,000 bolivares when the minimum wage is 18,000 bolivares. And that's just for one meal, for one day. Now, I understand that this is induced or this is provoked by U.S. sanctions on Venezuela. I know how this is all working. If you believe in a new world order, if you believe that if you're not part of the establishment, you're gonna suffer whatever consequences, and they're gonna put you under the category of dictatorships and under the category of communist countries and whatever. Venezuela has been trying to get their independence, and it's not gonna happen. Okay, that's never gonna happen. Like, what I want to get through to people right now is that a change in Venezuela's government by force, it's gonna lead to gas prices going crazy up, and an economic problem that's gonna happen here because now we are no longer in relationships with the United States, according to the Maduro government, the official government. They have broken ties with the United States of America, and the United States of America has 72 hours to leave the country. Not all the diplomatic members of the embassy. Now, what is going on? Today is Friday. Okay, we still have to wait 2 more days whether the Maduro government is going to take action. Okay, and if they do take action, I can guarantee you that there's going to be an overthrow of power of Maduro over the weekend. Okay, I hope this doesn't happen. I really don't, because like people here are going to suffer for the next couple of months, and they have no idea that there's not going to be no food for no one. Everything is going to be so pandemonium crazy for the next couple of weeks. If all this goes down, that the only people that are going to suffer from all of this is the Venezuelan people. And I hope people actually realize what's really happening here. This is dangerous grounds we're like treading upon. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't know how people are going to be able to feed their families for the next 2 weeks if an actual armed confrontation happens in Venezuela within the next month. Because people don't have food in their refrigerators. Okay, people are trying to get by day to day, hour by hour. If you eat chicken today, you don't know if you're going to eat chicken for the next 4 days. That's the actual situation here in Venezuela right now, as we speak. Okay? People don't eat meat every day. People don't eat chicken every day because it's way too expensive. One chicken is 1 month worth of pay. Okay? Now, I don't even know if this is sanctions, if this is corruption, if this is going to just be crazy for the next couple of months. Okay? I pray for the people here in Venezuela for the next couple of months, because we have no idea what's about to come. We're talking about Russia giving Maduro their support. China giving Venezuela the support. Okay? If a coup d'etat were to happen to his government, the Russian President Vladimir Putin said, "We got your back, Venezuela." Okay? This is crazy. I have no sides right now because I don't understand what I'm going to do for the next couple of months if this does go down. Yes, total control, Agenda 21. Venezuela is the first country to be pushed into the New World Order, whether they like it or not. And what I believe is they're going to push the New World Order so hard here in Venezuela that people are going to beg for it. Just like the Bible said. They're going to beg for the mark of the beast. Whatever mark that is. But they're not going to be going hungry for the next couple of days when there's already no food, when there's already like no money. Like you go to the bank and you only get 3,000 bolivares from the bank in one bank. Okay, you could go to different banks and get money, which in the black market that's almost the equivalent of $1.50 per day. Okay, the bank only lets you take out from one bank 3,000 bolivares. Okay, this is getting out of hand. This is getting really crazy. Okay, now the streets right now, it's normal during the day, but at night, you know, you get protestings. They turn fires, they burn canisters. It's not like Paris, you know what I mean? It's not going down like that right now. But there's already been 25 murders, you know. People have been killed since the 23rd of this month. We're the 25th, 2 days. Okay? 2 days, 25 people have been murdered in Venezuela. Now things are gonna get chaotic within the next couple of days because, like I said, you know, Venezuela is the president of OPEC right now. And they're trying to overthrow the government at this time. This is the worst timing. Like if this was scripted, it couldn't be scripted any better. You know what I mean? If this were to be like written in a Hollywood movie, it couldn't have been written any better than it is right now. Because this is the worst timing for anyone to do a coup d'etat of a country. The worst timing. Okay? When Venezuela is going to make decisions, global decisions on how OPEC is going to operate. So, I don't know if Donald Trump, Pence, Pompeo, Marco Rubio commenting on Venezuela and how they should run their government. Like, the government in the United States has been shut down for 5 weeks. There's people like without pay, you know? So, I don't know if they close the government to even get involved with this problem right now. To make Venezuela the point, you know, that they're going to need for the 2020s and beyond. I don't even know if this is going to be an oil problem. I do know the gas prices are going to go up for everyone else if they're going to keep sanctioning Venezuela, because Venezuela, Monday morning, is no longer going to do any more business with the United States in the official government of Maduro, which is like, they're still in power. This is so crazy. We have 2 national assemblies, we have 2 presidents, we have 2 justice departments. And they're waiting for the military to turn their back on Maduro, and that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what the United States is thinking right now, thinking that the Bolivarian forces are going to turn their back on Maduro. They're not going to turn their back on Maduro. They're not going to do it. They're going to keep going after the people. They're gonna keep putting people in jail, okay? They're gonna do what they always do. They've been doing it for the last 20 years. They're not gonna change their script. They're stuck. Okay, there's so much corruption all over the place. They will not let go of the power here in Venezuela. They're going to be either killed or arrested. They're gonna be persecuted for all the corruption that they have done too. So that's the biggest thing that's happening here, okay? This is like the perfect show for the New World Order, so that we can see how the New World Order destroys governments and destroys countries, you know, dividing the country first, you know, this blue and red bullshit, you know. I'm sorry for the language, but it's the truth. It's like you're either opposition or you're either, you know, Democrat or Republican, or here you're Chavista or you're opposition. You know, when they divide the country like that, it's over. It's over for the country. You know, it's over for the country. You know, Simón Bolívar, which is our version of George Washington, said that the country won't be truly free until Democrats divided and they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in their culture. They don't believe in anything. They just believe in politics and bullshit. And like, you know, whether you believe in this guy's way of thinking, but you don't care about your neighbor, you don't care about how people are around you, you treat people like crap, the country's over. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color you represent. You know what I mean? People need to live in harmony with one another. You know what I mean? And they divided this country. They divided this country, and Chavez had a lot to do with it. Before Chavez, the manipulation. Look, Venezuelan people, me personally, I have American citizen brothers and family members. I just live here in Venezuela. You know, I'm not a U.S. citizen either. And I love my country, and I love the American people. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of Americans. You know what I mean? And we can agree that interventions of any country and these wars and everything that's been happening. Look at what's going on in Israel right now. They're gonna drag Iran into a war too. Whether people don't want to admit it or not, Israel is going to eventually drag Iran into a war, and China's fighting over the Taiwanese islands. This is like global World War III getting ready to be sparked in 2 seconds. And they're overthrowing Venezuela to have what purpose? For what purpose are they going to overthrow Venezuela? You know what I mean? There is no purpose for overthrowing Venezuela right now. Not at this moment. But then you have like look at the scenario. You have a U.S. government shutdown. You have Russia backing up the Venezuelan government in case of an invasion. Okay, China is getting ready to go to war with the U.S. over like a whole bunch of like land that China's trying to claim back. You have Israel bombing the crap out of like Syrian forces, but like saying that they're actual Iranian forces. This is going to get out of hand. Like Russia backing up Venezuela. This is crazy. Okay, guys, like I'm actually pretty scared. And I want to say scared in the sense that like I'm not afraid, but I'm scared of what's happening globally. This is not just a Venezuelan problem. This is going to eventually become everyone's problem. Everyone's problem. You know, and if there were to be a war here, it would come from Colombia and Brazil. Okay, it will come from Colombia and Brazil. Those are the ones. Those are the two countries that are going to invade Venezuela in case. You know, you guys have to realize when this guy proclaimed to be himself a president on Wednesday at that march. All the money that's going to all the money that's going from the United States is no longer going to go to the Maduro government. It's now going to go to the parliament of Venezuela, which was chosen by the people. Okay, he was chosen by the people in the sense that by election. Okay, in order to put the National Assembly people in power, people voted. Okay, so they have power for 6 years. Okay, and every year within inside the assembly, they choose their own leader yearly, like the president, Madam Speaker, you know, Nancy Pelosi. Well, we change our representative once every year. Okay, so they're only there for a year as presidents of the National Assembly Parliament. Okay. So this is the 4th year, and Juan Guaido is his turn. Like they chose him, the parliament chose him, and the people chose him back, you know, a few years ago. Okay, so people can understand that he's not just like proclaiming himself to be president. You have to understand that the Venezuelan Constitution, if in back to like 2 years ago, the parliament decided to say that Maduro gave away his power by not doing his job. Okay, so what happened? They signed it into law, but it hasn't. They didn't sign it into law. Excuse me. They all voted for it, so it can be passed into law. But see, the law is being right now. How do you say, in control by the U.S. by the Maduro government. Okay, the government has two judicial systems right now, because right now Maduro has like started his executive orders. So he started a National Assembly constituent. I don't know how you say that in English right now, but I think it's something around there. Constituyente, you know. And he also has a constitutional judicial system, which they approve whether it's constitutional or not. Anyway, so 2 years ago, the assembly gave, like, you know, a vote that Maduro is no longer in power because he's giving away power. He's not like eligible for power because like he said that he was going to end the economic crisis and he couldn't finish his job doing it, you know. Anyways, so the people chose a national assembly a few years ago, and that was like by vote. You had to put your finger in a fingerprint reader, and you voted for the National Assembly, which today is opposition to the government. And they chose him as the president. And every year, a new president comes into power in the parliament. Okay? So, what you hear in the news and people saying, no, because he's illegitimate, because he wasn't chosen by the people. Yeah, the people chose him, and there were 7 million people on Wednesday trying to get a government change that way. This is like the Pacific way for you to change your government, okay? For the president of parliament to come up and say, hey, the president is not doing his job, okay? So we, the people of Venezuela, we're going to support the president, the parliament president, okay? So is the U.S. trying to overthrow Maduro for the oil like they did Saddam Hussein? Listen, eventually that's what's going to happen, okay? I can say that the United States is going to overthrow Maduro for the oil, and for the excuse is the corruption and the, let's say it this way, I create the problem and I have the solution too. You know what I mean? Like, how do I create the problem? Venezuela has been independent, and Chavez died, and Maduro was supposed to be taken out of power, and they didn't do it in time. So now Maduro went for his second term, and now they really got to take him out. Okay? They have to. The United States has no other choice. Okay? In order for them to continue with their New World Order plan, yeah, man, gold, oil, fresh water, geostrategical point in the map. Venezuela is in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, man. Okay? When the United States was in power of Venezuela back in the day when oil started like popping here, Venezuela was, the United States was the first one to help Venezuela with the construction of oil companies, with everything. Okay, they built, the United States and Venezuelan engineers helped build the like deepest ports for oil production around the world. Okay, we have like the biggest port where you can dodge like 6 transporters of oil. This shit is huge, man. Like, they lost that. Okay, when Venezuela put Chavez into power, the United States lost all the oil investment that they made here. Okay, because Chavez nationalized the oil here in Venezuela. Okay, when he nationalized the oil here in Venezuela, he went at war with all the oil companies that were built by the United States here in Venezuela. See, this is where the war is coming from. The war is coming over from there. See, Chavez said, all right, we're no longer going to do private businesses drilling our oil out of Venezuela. PDVSA is going to do it now, okay? And you're going to buy our oil from PDVSA. Now, there are oil companies here Sí, mi hermano, pero lo que pasa, what you have to understand, man, es que I'm going to speak in Spanish for just a second, man, because somebody's asking me a Spanish question here. They're saying, hold on a second. Live chat. The people are que las sanciones para estabilizar el gobierno y culpan al gobierno de Venezuela de todo un plan. Mira, el plan de esto, de estabilizar el gobierno de Venezuela, Iván, es una cosa más allá de los Estados Unidos. Los Estados Unidos no controla lo que hace las Fuerzas Armadas estadounidenses. ¿Ok? Lo que hace las Fuerzas Armadas estadounidenses lo hace porque está mandado por gente más allá de lo que tú te puedes imaginar como gobierno. O sea, para mí, Donald Trump no controla, y vamos a decirlo así, primera vez Donald Trump está controlando muchas acciones que antes la tomaba otra gente, y eso es lo que lo molesta a la nueva orden mundial. You know, I said to Ivan here that the Venezuelan government is being blamed, you know, but I'm saying to him in Spanish is that I believe that for the first time Donald Trump is actually doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, if he said he's gonna do something, he just went out and did it. You know, there's not as much of a control, which there is, but there's not as much of a control over Donald Trump as there's been in past presidents. Okay, like the New World Order hasn't been able to like just tell Donald Trump what to do. You know what I mean? Do I believe that he eventually does things? Yes. You know, and do they blame the Venezuelan government for like building all these problems up? Yes. Okay. But people need to understand this is not just a government problem. This is more than that. They're trying to drag the whole world into a conflict. Okay? And they need to start it now. It looks like they are pushing it to start it now. Okay? And this is something to worry about every day at home. Because eventually it will start with higher gas prices, and then war. You know what I mean? It would look just like how they invaded Iraq. But the problem is not that. See, look at it this way, and it's about to hit like half an hour already, me talking. Look at it this way. If Venezuela is attacked, Venezuela is going to retaliate, right? Venezuela against Israel. That's the thing I see. Look, Tammy, Venezuela is against the Zionist movement of Israel. And if we are all Christians and we all believe in the Bible, we know that the people who are controlling every government right now, okay, they are very bad people. Okay? They are doing things to fulfill Bible prophecy, and it almost seems like if they're doing it on purpose. Okay? It seems like they want to bring in their Antichrist before time. You know what I mean? For my experience of what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing right now, okay, a lot of Bible prophecy people are saying that Donald Trump is what's the figure that they were comparing him to on the internet the other day? Oh man. Back Israel, their temple or whatnot. And they're working on Donald Trump to rebuild. Cyrus is the thing. Thank you, Brian. So Donald Trump is the new Cyrus, and he's going to rebuild the temple and everything. Like they have everything in the works for it. If Israel goes to war and destroys Damascus and bombs the crap out of Damascus, like the Bible said that it will happen, okay? And they go and they put their alliance of like all of the EU to go against Iran. I will guarantee you Russia, okay, will defend Venezuela down here in the south, okay? And they're gonna have some evil with the Chinese on the other side. This is gonna go into an all-out war, and we're talking about after all of this, months later, some dude's gonna come on the scene and say, "We need peace." And I'm talking about sparking it right now, like months. Like, how do you when you see countries giving themselves all this hate, okay, that's happening right now. We need anyone else in power because the people of Venezuela are asking for it. Okay? The majority of Venezuelan people are asking for it. It's not whether do I want Juan in power or not. No, the people of Venezuela are asking for it because they're tired of the corruption. They're tired of seeing how their leaders, they live better than they do. Okay? But then they say, we hate the United States and we hate all of this stuff. And then you see them in the newest vehicles, 2017, 2018 vehicles. They have million bodyguards. They eat in restaurants. And the Venezuelan people are going through a rough time. So because of that, people want to change them. Okay, that government. But do I believe the Venezuelan people are going to go in favor of the United States? Right now, they will. Okay, for a few years, they will. In thanks to getting rid of this whole revolution. Okay, you guys have to realize Venezuela was owned by the United States for a long time. It's only been 20 years since the Venezuelan people started believing in a revolution. Okay, if the U.S. were to lift sanctions against Venezuela, Venezuela would be a normal living country. Okay, but they're not going to lift sanctions because the people that they gave the money to are so corrupt that they didn't put the money into the people's hands, but they stole it and they bought horses and they raced their horses in Gulfstream Park in Florida, and they have 14, 15 houses in Miami. You know what I mean? So they talk a lot about how they hate imperialism, but they live in Europe, they live everywhere like rich people. The problem is not whether Maduro is good or not. They're all corrupt. Okay. Maduro's people are the most people that are suffering the most. Okay, these are the people who live under a minimum wage. These are the people who need government help. These are the people who depend on government. They need the most help because they're going through the most horrible time of hunger, of all the economic sanctions. These are like the Venezuelan people who support Maduro and support the government still. The people who support the government still are people who have always been dependent on the government. Okay, I want to give you an example. What would happen tomorrow if there are sanctions from the world to the United States? Okay, that they will not be able to buy or sell their goods because they're being sanctioned. The United States is. What would happen to all the black communities and the Hispanic communities that live on welfare and that live on ETB cards and all the food stamps? When you have to buy groceries on a daily basis to feed your family, what would happen to those people? The United States is about to get a little taste of what's happening in Venezuela. If the government continues to shut down, eventually they're gonna eliminate Social Security, and eventually they're going to eliminate food stamps, and you're gonna see mad riots, and you're gonna see people flipping out. Exactly, Brandy. People will go crazy protesting, and they're gonna want Trump out. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they did it. That's how it's done. So they sanctioned you, they make you go hungry, They make you feel like the government is not doing their job. Let's get them out. And that's what happened here. It worked. You know what it's like to be 4 years going hungry? And I don't mean going hungry like, no, I mean like you eat once a day and that's about it. For the last 6 years, now people want a way out. They need a way out. Tammy, I know I live. I'm gonna show you guys later. I'm on my way back to my town where I go fishing and everything. I'm gonna make a little video later on because it's still early. So you guys can see I grow my own food, you know, in my backyard. But in Caracas, there's no such thing. There's no gardens. There's nothing. That, like, people live on top of each other. They're called barrios, you know. There's nowhere to grow food at home. Excuse me. Yes, a lot of people are migrating. They're leaving the country. And in Ecuador, just so you guys get you on some updated news, there was a murder of a girl that was pregnant. And it so happened that it was done by a Venezuelan person. So the Ecuadorian people started getting all the Venezuelan people that migrated to Ecuador. And they started burning all their clothes and kicking them out in the street and telling them to leave the country. So there are tensions everywhere. This is going crazy. I'm telling you. I'm gonna make a video later on today. Like I said, I'm about to like hop on a bus 4 hours to go back home. And guys, I just wish that like and ask for a lot of prayer, real prayer, like down on your knees, like if it was for yourself. For the people of Venezuela for the next couple of hours and days, you know. We are really in a very confused state. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen on Sunday. Today, the assembly is going to get together and we'll see. Luke, prayers do work, man. I hope you try them. I believe in them. I believe in prayer, man. I really do. Look, guys, you know, I don't want this to happen, man. I really don't. I wish there was an actual way for all of this to go down without any bloodshed from anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see the soldiers of my country, like, shooting more people. You know? Unarmed people. And I really don't want to see the national, our army, per se, shooting at Venezuelan army men either. You know what I mean? I don't want to see any of this. It may come. It may come. We may have to live through it, but I really don't want to see any of that. You know. They did try a coup in 2002. But you have to realize Chavez was put into power by a coup himself. Venezuela can't say, or people can't say, oh, the 2002 coup was bad and Chavez coup was bad or good, you know what I mean, either. Because people died when Chavez fucking like tried to take power when I was a little kid. You know? There's a lot of people that died that night. And before that, there was an economic struggle called the Caracazo, which a lot of people died under the government of Carlos Andres Perez, which they killed people in the street up and left and right. And then you don't know who's who. Okay, what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to justify any coup whether it's from the revolution or from. I don't want to see any more Venezuelan people die. You know, I'm tired of seeing people dying left and right with no excuse in Venezuela. People don't understand. Like, people who are abroad in the United States need to realize this point. If you die in Venezuela, nothing happens, okay? I'm not trying to be stupid saying that. I'm saying in the United States, somebody kills you, people find out, they investigate, somebody eventually goes to jail. That does not happen here. Here you get shot down in the street. First of all, it'll take like 9 hours before the morgue gets to you. And then whoever killed you, they won't get arrested, or they won't even get found out, or there won't be any investigation, unless if you're somebody from the government, or unless you're somebody important. There is nothing that will happen if you die in Venezuela. Okay? This is crazy here. Okay? Like, in every hood, there's 5, 6 dudes sitting in the corner smoking weed, you know, in the middle of the street. And if one of them pulls out a gun and shoots you down, that's it. Okay? Don't think for a second that, oh, in Venezuelan people, you know, this thing is crazy here. Okay? You try to go lose your license and you go to the DMV in the United States, and in 5 minutes you'll have your license. In Venezuela, they'll tell you, oh, there's no internet, okay, or we're out of, you know, cards, or whatever excuse if they don't feel like attending you, you know. Venezuela is lost. Venezuela, like, the people, they need like a cultural change completely. Tammy, you're in Trinidad and Tobago? That's awesome. I have friends there that are from here. So on. But look, guys, I'm gonna check back with you guys a bit later. I'm okay. I'm fine. Like I said, it was just a couple of hiccups with like economic craziness that's happening here in Venezuela. Just to give you an idea, real quick, on how money is down here. This morning the dollar is at 2. Okay, $1 is 1,500 bolivares soberanos. Okay, that means that we work for $12. No, $1 is 2,500 soberanos, which can buy you a let's see, one Coca-Cola, 2 liter, a liter of Coca-Cola. I gotta look into that, Tam. I don't know what blue gold is. I have first time I hear that expression, actually. But yeah, guys, I want to thank you for checking up on me, for asking me what's been going on. I'm about to travel. I'm gonna go back to my my house, and I want to show you guys where I'm at right now. Hold on a second. That's what Caracas looks like. I don't know if you guys got to see that. That was the avenue down there in Caracas. But thank you for checking out the channel. I'm going to keep on posting things. I want to see what's going to happen within the next couple of days here in Venezuela. Hopefully nothing for the bad, you know. Blue metal of the Congos. I know that they're excavating a lot of minerals and new minerals in the Orinoco area, but the reason, the true reason why the United States is going to intervene in Venezuela at this time. And I believe one of the main reasons is because Venezuela is the president of OPEC, and that is going to be a very decisive move. You know, look, the United States people are the best people that I've ever met. They're humble, they're cool. It should have been the Saints, but it's not about the American people. It's about the, you know, Maduro said the other day in one of his talks to the country, he said, the American people are not the bad people, it's the people who lead them that make bad decisions, and and you almost have to agree with that. Like, if the United States hadn't put sanctions on Venezuela like they did, I don't think we'd be going through the same problems. Now, with that said, that doesn't justify that these people have here. The Pentagon and whoever their real puppet masters are, like agenda. If this is Agenda 21, then we're talking about depopulation. A lot of people are going to disappear really soon. And I'm not talking about no rapture. I'm talking about people are going to be put into war. People are going to against our dictator action. You can't, you cannot permit the to kill people out in the street, and then there's no justice for it. Okay? You can't do that. You can't have a justice department that turns a blind eye every time a cop kills a civilian, okay, while they're protesting. With economic sanctions, with all the things that are happening from the United States, you have, like, how do I feel the dictatorship clamping down on my everyday life? Well, when I drive my car from my pueblo, from my town to the city, I have to go through 26 checkpoints driving to feel more secure, right? Because that's what the government says. We want to secure your safety, so we're going to put 25 checkpoints in the middle of a highway, okay, so you can feel safe. I actually feel way unsafer because the Venezuelan police will ask me for money, or ask me for merchandise, or ask me for anything, okay? So that's how the dictatorship clamps down, because they like want to show fear. Okay, so they militarize the streets. There's like a checkpoint where there's a National Guard everywhere. Okay, because we have our police, we have state police, we have regular police. Okay, we have all that, but then we have the National Guard, which is like all over the country, and the National Guard is like the police, but with like M16s in their hand in the middle of the street. Like, oh no, we're waiting for the invasion. What invasion? There hasn't been an invasion of Venezuela since ever. Okay. Now there's a lot of Cubans here. There's 1,000 Cubans in the armed forces here, which should be legal. You know what I mean? But anyway, there's no side, right? There is no side for one to just jump to. Okay. Juan, right now I can't say that. Did I go to Juan's rally? Yes, because why? Because I wanted my president there, so the Venezuelan people, The Venezuelan people know that we are in a change. Okay, we need a change. We need justice to be made for our own people here. Okay. No, we want it to be controlled by Russia. No, we want to be independent. We want to be our own country. You know, you got to fight for your country. You know, you the thing that they're manipulating the news for people to believe is one is going to either. One of these days say, okay, we're going to declare free elections where both opposition, government, and everybody, slaves do not own guns. Juan has to declare within the next few hours of today, Friday. Juan is actually a Jew. There's a lot of Jewish people here in Venezuela, guys. Don't be fooled. And there's a lot of Middle Eastern people here in Venezuela too. Like Venezuela, the melting pot of Venezuela, have that going on. We are very, very mixed here. And Iranian, there's even Hezbollah here in Venezuela. So, look, guys, things here are difficult. Very, very difficult. Yeah, I watched Florida Marquise myself. That's where I started making videos because he was actually giving information on where there were some boats that they have to still be there, you know, over by the Barbados Islands, which is actually right in front of where I live in the coast. Um, and I really thank Florida Marquise for all the videos that he does because he's right on point. Like I understand that a lot of people are like, oh well, Florida Marquise doesn't do a lot of videos on bring out a piece of truth, you know. So like I said, I'm not for Juan, I'm not for Maduro. I just want my country to be better, you know. Do we want change? Yes, we need change. Do we want this change to be in favor of the United States? Eventually it will be because the United States is gonna gain Venezuela to financed by the United States and the IMF and all of these world things. And 20 years, the last 20 years, Venezuela has been away from all of these financial institutions and like depending on other countries and only depend on their oil and backbone was theirs at one point. And I don't mean that like for a long time. Venezuela before oil was an independent country because of Simon Bolivar. You know what I mean? Like Simon Bolivar or George Washington gave the independence to 7 countries, and that's in the way we think and the way we live. And the United States was in power for a long time, and Chavez made sure to change people's view on that. And now we're having the problem, geopolitical problem that we're having now because a lot of people have invested their money in Venezuela. They're gonna want their money back, and you know how that goes. You can't just go and overthrow the tree, and you haven't paid me back my money. Yeah, the private sector and they own all the companies because all the government companies have shut down due to sanctions. How do